Welcome to our first lesson of the course Magick, the Art of Spellcasting. Today we're gonna focus on finding the magical timing and momentum for performing our spells or rituals. We're gonna go over moon phases, days of the week, seasons, and Sabbats. First, I would like to talk about the moon phases. This is the most common magical timing for all the witches. In traditional understanding, we have 8 phases, starting from the new moon, going through waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter, waning crescent, and back to the new moon. Some witches also like to celebrate the 9th phase, which is the dark moon. It's a slightly different phase than the new moon, and we will go over the differences later on in this lesson. This is another presentation of the moon phases. Starting from the new moon, we can observe the moon growing, and this phase is called waxing. The culmination is on the full moon, when there is a full luminosity of the moon, and we can observe it on the sky. On the opposite hand, we have a waning moon, which is a diminishing moon, when the moon gets less and less illumination each night. The moon cycle lasts about 28 days, and the moon goes through all of these phases, as well as the zodiac signs, all of the 12 zodiac signs. I will mention this a bit later in this lesson. Starting from the new moon. The new moon is the first phase of the lunar cycle, and as I mentioned before, witches distinguish the phases new and dark moon. So in our understanding, the first crescent that appears on the sky is the new moon. This happens between 1.5 to 3.5 days after the dark moon, and this phase is really associated with beginning, planning, setting intentions and goals, preparing for the moon cycle ahead. On the right side of the slide, you can read about the most common associations with the moon, and it focuses on different activities, getting things started, anything that involve growth and accomplishing, achieving, putting the things in motions, manifestations. A lot of practitioners set up goals for each of the moon cycle, and this will depend on the zodiac signs that the moon is in. Each of the zodiac signs will have a different meaning for our practice. Going next, we have waxing moon, and the waxing moon phase lasts about 2 weeks, and it goes through 3 phases. It's a waxing crescent, first quarter, and waxing gibbous. The waxing moon is the time between the new moon and the full moon, where we can observe the moon growing each night. During this time, it's great to focus on anything that we want to attract into our lives, make bigger, expand, activate. It's a time to be practical and specific, focusing, concentrating on our goals, cultivating the good habits, also setting good habits, fulfilling our plan for the new moon cycle, and a magical work that is needed to be put in motion to bring some results later on. Our next phase is full moon. This is a culmination phase where a lot of people say it's a really, really great time for any kind of magical working. It's a very potent time, and a lot of witches do most of their rituals during full moon because of the enhanced psychic abilities and culmination of this lunar energy. This is a time of completion, fullness, fruition, psychic energies, and magic. Full moon phase lasts about 3 days, the day before the full moon, the day of the full moon, and the day after. Some people extend it to the 7-day period, but I think for the best results, we should focus our magic mostly on the day of the full moon. Also, what we need to mention here is that some practitioners use the full moon, zodiac signs, and their correspondences to plan their spellcrafting throughout the year. For example, if we have moon in Taurus, full moon in Taurus, this is a great time for financial work, for any stability work, grounding, anything connecting to the earth element would be great to do under Taurus full moon. The magic that we can do on the full moon is energizing, it's empowering, it's very potent for anything that we want to accomplish. whenever we set intentions for the new moon cycle, we can see if it's working during the full moon. For example, make assessment what worked during the last 2 weeks and what needs to be done. This is also a time of letting go and being grateful for the things that have come into fruition into our life, because as you can see, the moon is in its culmination. It's the most empowering time, but at the same time, from full moon, the moon will diminish in size, in the light it emits, and we need to kind of prepare for this with a grateful heart. Next phase is waning moon, and the waning moon phase starts after the full moon and lasts for approximately 2 weeks until the dark moon. It goes through 3 phases: waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. This time is great for anything that we want to get rid of. For example, like old habits, limiting beliefs, unhelpful thought patterns. It's a great time for closure, banishing, diminishing things, decluttering, relaxing, getting in tune with our natural cycles, as well like maybe slowing down a little bit, because together with moon we can get needed rest and focus more on our self-care and surrendering to the cycles. The last phase that I have on this list is the dark moon, and as I said before, some practitioners distinguish these 2 phases, like new and dark moon, see them as totally different occurrences on the sky. The dark moon is the last phase of the lunar cycle, and it's the time when there is no moon visible on the sky. It is often considered as the void, the unknown, the liminal space, and marks a great time to focus on our inner selves and getting comfortable, practicing self-care, focusing on calmness and relaxing activities. The dark moon is really great for getting comfortable with ourselves, for doing any inner work that we might want to do, like shadow work, maybe introspection, intuition work, doing some sort of divination to see what's coming in the next cycle. It's also a great time to go through our goals that we set on the new moon and see what has worked and how we can improve in the next cycle. As I mentioned before, zodiac signs have a great importance in the moon cycle and the following different associations together with the moon. Zodiac signs are used in magical timing in 2 ways. They can be used together with the moon phase and together with the moon, as well as the seasonal workings. For the zodiacs in the moon signs, approximately every 2.5 days, the moon changes the sign. What's important to mention here is something called void of course. This is the time when the moon is currently not in any zodiac sign, and this can last between a couple of minutes to 1-2 days actually. And some people say it's not a great time to do any sorts of magic, so whenever you plan, you can also check the moon void of course to see if your magical timing would be fruitful. Another thing that we can use zodiac signs for is to focus on seasonal workings when the sun is in the current zodiac sign. And these phases last about 1 month. As you can see on this slide, we have zodiac seasons, and starting from Aries, which is the first sign, from March 21st, we go through Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So as you can see, each of these phases lasts about 1 month, and they have a great significance if we want to work with zodiac associations and together with the solar energies. As I mentioned before, we can use either moon or the sun zodiac signs to work our magic, and we will go quickly over the 12 zodiac signs and their correspondences. First, we have Aries. Aries is a sign that is a fire sign. It's very focused on actions, confidence, getting things done, determinations, leadership. It's all about being motivated and starting new projects, new passions. It's the first sign of the zodiac So it's also really good for new beginnings, for finding anything that we want to begin during this time, and generally get this like kickstart towards our action. And the next we have Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign, and Taurus is all about abundance, ambition, courage, determination. It's great for grounding because of the earth energies, and material security. This comes also to financial matters. This sign is reliable, but it also indicates that sometimes we need to slow down for things to happen in the natural rhythm. The next on our list is Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and it's all about the connections with people, collaborations, finding like new friendships or maintaining friendships, inspiration, learning, having new ideas, networking with people, personal growth, finding solutions and progress in our workings. Cancer is a water sign, and it's great for emotional matters, cleansing, family, motherhood, healing, nurturing. Also great for protection, any type of housework, finding the rhythm, any type of self-care as well. Then we go to Leo. Leo is another fire sign, and it's all about abundance, also action, ambition, finding charisma, confidence, being more creative, like childlike, finding our passions and hobbies. It's great for any work that leads to leadership and our own success. It helps with self-expressions, and also it's a great time to focus on wealth. Virgo is an earth sign, and it is all about analyzing, making plans, cleaning, cleansing, decluttering, organizing. It's very detail-oriented sign. So if we want to set up our goal, our plan for the next year or a month ahead, it's great to do it in the Virgo sign, whether it is a Virgo season, like it's in September, or maybe finding a moon in Virgo and focusing the work there. Libra is an air sign. It's connected to balance, beauty, communication. It's all about the harmony because of the Libra sign. Healing, justice, love, partnership, peace, also socializing and teamwork. Next is Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. It's all about ambition, our business, finding courage and change in our lives. It's also connected very strongly to intimacy, partnership, sexual relationships, anything that is emotional in nature, like deep emotions. Also finding the passion, transformation. It's all great to do during the Scorpio season or the moon in Scorpio. Sagittarius likes adventure, and it's a brave sign. It's also connected to fiery energy, so it's all about the freedom, the fun, humor, finding this knowledge and our passion, optimism with the things that we do. And it's also a great time to find the purpose and ask yourself, like, why am I here on this earth and what I came here to do? Capricorn, another earth sign. It's all about the ambition, authority, finding the confidence within us, determination to strive towards the goals. It's about productivity, finding the next steps, resilience, respect. It's also great for structuring and willpower. Aquarius is another air sign, and it's great for collaborations. It's great for connecting with other people, especially to discuss ideas. It's all about imaginations, dreams, also idealism and finding innovation, like finding new inventions. Pisces is a water sign. It's connected closely to creativity and art, also to dreaming and our inner selves, intuitions, inspirations, introspection. It's a peaceful sign that is connected to psychic powers as well, getting visions through any type of divination or dreaming. These are all 12 signs. As you can see, we can use them quite well to set up our goals, magical workings, finding the great timing for our spells. That's really important to know these differences and know how to determine if the day or the moon phase is a great time to do our magical working. Next, we're gonna jump to days of the week, and they can have a great importance. They are associated with 7 classical planets. I put them in brackets because they are not actually planets, all of them, but our ancestors or people in ancient Greece and Rome, they kind of saw them as the planets, celestial objects, and associated and named days of the week after these celestial objects. So we have here Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. When we go over to describing each of the days, I want to mention that mostly their associations, their correspondences are connected to these planets, and the planets can have also more advanced aspect to them, such as the planetary hours, as well as different astrological transitions and aspects on the sky. So they can be also combined together with zodiac signs to determine the perfect timing, but this would make the course on its own, so I didn't focus too much on describing all of the possibilities, but I just want you to know that there is more to the magical timing than I present here as well. So if you're interested, you can follow this topic and find the resources, the books to learn more about magical timing. First, we're going to start with Sunday. As the day of the sun, it's connected to colors of yellow and gold and orange. It's a very happy day. It's connected to solar energies, ambition, power, will, being like this energetic being. Sunday is great for anything that revolves around business, career, also leadership. Great time to focus on the fun, having great time with your friends, doing sports, becoming more athletic. It's a day for getting things done and be motivated for a week ahead. Monday is the day of the moon. It's connected to color silver, purple, white, and gray. Also, it's connected to the lunar deities. Monday is the great time for emotional work, for nurturing our inner selves, for empathy, for family matters, for fertility. It's also great for love and marriage. It's a very feminine day. The Sunday is more associated with active male energy, while Monday is associated with receptive female energy. So anything that we want to nourish in our lives, maybe like going to a spa or having some nice treatment at home, that would be a great day to do it. Tuesday is the day of Mars, and colors associated with this day are mostly red and all shades of red, like burgundy, but some people also associate black or gray. As you can see, it's a time for being active, like an active energy, energetic, getting a bit competitive in our lives, like pushing through our limits, getting things done, finding the courage to follow our hearts and go through everything that we are presented with. It's a great day for independence, for finding the motivation, movement towards our goals, partnership, passion. It's connected to the male sexual energy, also to strength, victory, vitality, all of these empowering traits. Our next day is Wednesday. Wednesday is connected to Mercury, and it's day great for any communication matter, anything that is connected to transportation, travel, also computers, technology. It's a great time for messages, messaging people or receiving messages. Great day for money and financial work, as well as music, channeling our inner creativity and focusing on arts. It's also a day for understanding and wisdom and finding the resources needed for our work. Thursday is the day of Jupiter, and the Jupiter is a planet of expansion. So this would be anything focusing on the abundance work, business, career, money, also finding riches maybe within us, self-improvement, finding the purpose, finding our wisdom. It's about luck and good fortune as well, honoring anything in our lives, being loyal and dedicated towards our goals. Friday is the day of Venus, is associated with this beautiful feminine energy and female sexuality. It's a great day for any sorts of love, magic, affection, admiration, marriage, partnership, also fertility. Great day for harmony, for having parties, spending time with our loved ones, but also friends. Great day for shopping and social occasions. Also, Venus is associated with art and channeling our inner creativity and intuition. So it's a great day to pursue our favorite hobbies and also any type of self-care and gentleness towards ourselves and others. Last day we're gonna talk about is Saturday, connected to Saturn. The colors associated is mostly black, purple, and sometimes red. Saturn is the day that is great for finding things that restrict us. It's like a day of death and rebirth, finding the sacrifices we have to do, responsibilities that we have, focusing on protection as well as justice, karma, anything that involves the law. Also, it's a great time for shadow work, for trying to overcome our fears, finding motivation to move forward in our lives. It's all about the transformation, like in the Death card of Tarot. It's all about endings and new beginnings as well. So anything that restricts us, it's great to work on Saturday. These would be all 7 days connected to the celestial objects in the sky. You can use them together with the moon phases, the moon zodiac signs, also finding planetary hours to find the best timing during the day for a certain work. This is a more advanced practice, but if you're interested, I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this course where you can find the planetary hours of your local area without unnecessary calculations. So the planetary hours can be used for intensifying the energies of a certain day. So for example, if we would love to focus on love and we choose to work on Friday, we can also find an hour of Venus to enhance this practice with Venus energy. Our next stop in this lesson is seasons and magic. This is just going to be a quick reminder or a quick mention about 4 seasons. You can use them to time your magical working. Also, it's great to follow the seasons that are around you and finding your own associations with each season. For example, if you feel like spring is the most abundant time of the year, that's maybe a great time to practice some prosperity magic. Or I don't know, if you associate winter with abundance because of the presents or anything happy that's happening, maybe instead of finding spring as a time of abundance, you rather work this type of spell work during winter. So it's really great to find our own associations with seasons, with the moon phases, with zodiac signs, because they're gonna make the magical work more personal as well as powerful, because it comes from our own being, our own understanding, and it's gonna make sense and be in alignment with our inner wisdom. So that's important to notice. But for most of the time, spring is the time for new beginnings, for planting, for starting this movement, motion, for anything focusing on the growth, any type of beauty work, rebirth, youth, renewal. It's all connected to the springtime. It's a great time to focus on flower magic and garden magic, as well as air magic. Summer is great for getting the solar energy, the solar power. It's the most potent time of the year when the sun is in the full blossom, and it's also great for abundance work, finding courage, any spells directed towards our will, like finding our passions and the love and friendship in our lives. It's also a great time for the vigor and vitality. So if you need extra energizing, summer would be a great time to do this type of work. Autumn is connected with renewal, with death of the old, getting more introspected, as well as finding things that we are ready to let go of. It's a time for transformation and getting ready for this rest season. So maybe going through all of the things that we have experienced during the year and finding a lot of gratefulness in the things that happened. That would be a great time to do during autumn. And when it comes to winter, in most of the common association with winter, we talk about rest, we talk about darkness, the death, as well as like this calmness, the peacefulness of this season. It's also a great time for banishing and endings. That's why a lot of people decide to stop their bad habits during winter time, because it's a great time to focus on it. It's like transforming the old for the new things to emerge in the springtime. It's also a great time for any type of dream magic, divination, inner magic, also ice and snow magic, because they connected with the season. That cycle goes again. The last thing I want to talk about is pagan holidays, known as Sabbats and the Wheel of the Year. They are mostly associated with the Wiccan religion, but a lot of modern witches decide to celebrate the seasonal changes as well. And you don't necessarily have to be Wiccan to follow them. They are a great way to honor the changes that we experience in the nature, as well as focusing on the natural world around us. The first pagan holiday is Samhain. Samhain, as you can see, in Northern Hemisphere is celebrated around 31st of October until 1st of November. And in the Southern Hemisphere, it's 6 months apart, starting on 30th of April until the 1st of May. This is a time of getting rid of the old things, honoring our ancestors, divination, communicating with the spirit world, psychic powers, any sort of introspection work going in within us, finding the rest and like slowing down for the winter. Coming next, we have Yule. Traditionally, it is celebrated during the winter solstice, and it's about new beginnings, finding time for inner study, meditation, anything that we like to feel cozy about. That's great for Yule. It's also the day of a return of the sun. From now on, the sun's gonna be longer and longer visible on the sky, so it's also a great day to focus on solar magic, on the warmth it brings, and the coming spring. Imbolg is also known as Candlemas. It's celebrated around 1st, 2nd of February and 6 months apart in the Southern Hemisphere. It's a time for abundance, fire magic, candle magic, decluttering, like first spring cleaning. Great time for intuition, for reflection, self-care, and also getting creative. Great time for setting intentions, because it's some sort of like just before the spring season, so it would be great to set up some goals for the year ahead, for months ahead, and focus on the blessings as well. Ostara or Ostra is a time very close to Easter. A lot of traditions are quite similar, such as bunnies and flowers and eggs, all of these symbols of fertility of the earth, as well of the nature around us. It's about the balance, because it's a spring equinox, so it's all about the balance and harmony. It's about finding the passion, focusing on the growth, our potential possibilities that arise, anything that we want to change in our lives. That's great to do during Ostara season. Another pagan holiday we celebrate is Beltane, or Bealtaine, as they call it in Ireland. It's celebrated around 1st of May in Northern Hemisphere and around 31st of October in the Southern Hemisphere. This time of the year, it's all about abundance, energy, the growth, vitality. We see a lot of flowers, so it's a very colorful holiday, celebrating joy and life. It's also connected to partnership, relationships, love, anything that brings this sense of living into our lives. So Beltane is great for this type of work. Lita is the summer solstice, celebrated around 21st of June in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere around 21st of December. And it's about solar energy, because this solar energy is the most powerful during that time. So it's all about the fulfillment, growth, also like anything that we connect to the sun energy, as we mentioned before, like on Sunday correspondences. It's about success, wealth, wishes. Additionally, people used to do hand fastings, like pagan marriages on Lita. So it's a great time for any type of love magic, relationships, self-love, and fertility as well. Next holiday we have here is Lammas, also known as Lunasa. It's the holiday celebrated around 2nd of August in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere around 2nd of February. It's all about the harvest, and it's the first harvest of the year. It's connected to abundance, agriculture, generosity, prosperity, money, any type of commerce, business, finding our skills, succeeding in any type of work, and accumulating wealth. Last on the list is Mabon. It's a holiday that we celebrate during autumn equinox around 21st of September in the northern hemisphere and 21st of March in the southern hemisphere. This is also known as the second harvest of the year. It's about abundance, accomplishment, also balance and harmony because of the equinox. Great time for doing some grounding work, gratitude, and just Thanksgiving in general, being thankful and grateful for everything that has happened to us in the last year. On the ending note, I just want to quickly say that the magical timing is a great way to enhance our spells, and it can be used in the right manner for making the spells more powerful because of the all associations with the planets, with the zodiac signs, with the moon and seasons. Following the natural cycles is generally helping us to achieve what we wish for, what we strive for. Because when we work with the nature, and the witchcraft is a path of nature and natural living in most cases, then it's much easier to tap into these natural energies and bring them into our life, bring them into the spell work we want to accomplish. So that's why I think it's important to know correspondences and associations of different magical timing. But to be honest, it's way more powerful if you combine your own feelings, your own intuition into it, and do your spell work according to what you believe is going to work. How to choose the right timing? I think the right timing is whenever you need it. You can always make everything work by focusing on your inner energy, focusing on empowering yourself to do this type of spell work. But as I mentioned, having natural forces on our side might be beneficial. So to choose the right timing, think about your intention, think about what you want to achieve and accomplish with your magical working, and find the best timing. I can give you a couple of examples. Let's say that you want to lose weight. There's a couple of things that you might want to consider. First of all, if it's about losing the weight, you might want to start it during the waning moon phase because the moon is diminishing, and so we want to lose the weight, like shred it off us. So it's a great time to start during waning moon. If we want to this type of work to succeed, we can start it on Sunday because it's all about the success and help of the solar energies. But we can also do it on Saturday because it's a day of transformation and of banishing and of like getting rid of. So Saturday would be good as well. We're gonna talk a little bit more about setting intentions and rephrasing them in later lessons. But for now, I just want to say that whenever you want to work on attracting something, try to do it during waxing moon. And whenever you want to get rid of something, try to stick to waning moon. And additionally, for advancing your practice, you can learn more about planetary hours and also combine them with the day of the week or a moon phase. You can also focus on timing together with astrological aspects and focus your magic following different phases such as retrogrades, planets in different signs, as well as maybe finding the power time of your own, finding the timing that work best for you. My last slide, my last note is the assignment that I want to give you. Please think about your intention. Think about something that you want to accomplish after this course, and on a piece of paper write what this intention is, like what you want to bring into your life or what you want to get rid of. And using the knowledge and materials in this lesson, please find the best timing for your work. This is your first assignment. I'm gonna see you in the next week or next video, and until then, good luck with learning, good luck with your life, and all the blessings. Hello and magical welcome in the second module of our course, Magick, the Art of Spellcasting. Today we're gonna talk about magical approach, which is the next step into creating your own personal spells. First, we're gonna go over ethics of spellcasting. We will talk a little bit about meditation, focusing mind, raising vibration, and we will finish with different types of spells. When it comes to ethic of spellcasting, there's a couple things to consider. It will vary from different traditions and different paths, different religions such as Wicca, but in general, these are the rules of moral spellcasting that you can think about when you're choosing the spell to perform. These practices I'm going to mention might be considered unethical. The first thing is the cultural appropriation, and this means borrowing certain rituals, certain traditions from different cultures that we are not practicing, that we are not coming from. The most common example of cultural appropriation would be smudging, which is a closed practice of Native Americans. Instead, we can say smoke cleansing, which is present in many cultures around the world, and it's okay to use smoke cleansing in your practice. Another thing is using unethically sourced ingredients, and this can vary from crystals to herbs to different resins, different ingredients that we might want to use, such as animal parts, for example. This will also be connected to your moral code, like internal ethics that you practice. Some people are vegans and they obviously don't want to have anything to do with the animals' death, such as leather bounding on their books or maybe using skulls and bones in their practice. So this is another thing to consider. The most common unethically sourced ingredient at the moment is white sage. It's a very endangered plant. It's better to use the substitutes such as the common garden sage, for example. They have very similar properties and they can be used interchangeably. Another example of unethically sourced plants that unfortunately become endangered because of the modern consumerism, commercialism, and the developing spiritual practices around the world is Palo Santo. This is a tree that originally has been used as a cleansing smoke, but unfortunately, due to the demand of our current spiritual world, the Palo Santo is also endangered. Another common ethical issue that we find in spellcasting is using somebody else's free will, like manipulating it in an unhealthy manner, as well as doing spells for someone else without their consent. These are also based on our personal morals, personal ethics, and I leave it up to you if you want to practice this type of magic, but I would rather say it's not appropriate to do it because no one wants to have a free will taken from them. So if you want to do some love spells to attract a new partner, try to refrain from attracting a specific person, especially without their consent, because that might turn out a bit unexpected, a bit hurtful in a way for a person to be attached to you through a spell and magical working. So that's thing to consider if you want to interfere with someone else's life. And the last point of ethic of spellcasting, it's practicing a negative or dark or black magic. This could be, for example, any curses and the hexes you want to do. It's not really nice to be influenced by a magic, and I'm not saying that it will come to you threefold, as in we can read. I'm just saying that it comes from a perspective of understanding the energetical and vibrational nature of life. The things that we put out, it's likely that we will attract them back to ourselves. And this just comes from a couple of laws that govern the universe, such as the law of attraction. If you put this energy out into the world, you're giving the signal to this energy to come back to you. It might not be wise to do this type of spells, cursing or hexes, binding as well in unhealthy manner. I think it's important to ask yourself what you want to accomplish within that spell. Let's say that you don't like your coworker and it makes your life miserable. Maybe instead of focusing on making that person's life bad or influenced in a way, maybe try to do a spell work for a promotion, for moving to a different job, maybe to pursuing your passions. Just focus more so on the change that you can bring into your own personal life. Meditation is our next stop on this presentation, and meditation in simple words is the ability to hold attention and focus. Be present, mindful, aware of the physical, emotional, and mental states, as well as the surroundings. To be able to effectively influence the change in our reality, we need to have a sharp focus and undisturbed attention to what and how we're doing things. And this is highly, highly, highly connected to magical workings and spells, because the ability to hold intention, attention, and focus into one specific place allows you to accumulate the energy needed for that spell to fulfill. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about gathering the energy, raising vibration in a moment. But for now, I want to show you the importance of meditation practice. It's very good to have a daily routine of mindful activities and focusing on the senses, focusing on the feeling of present moment, because that's the only time we can change our perception, influence the surroundings, the mind, the circumstances as well. Meditation allows you to tap into this power of undisturbed mind and sharp focus that is needed to bring something into your life. There's many types of meditation. For example, the most common one, as everyone can imagine, a person sitting down with a straight spine, hands on the knees, or in a mudra, which is a hand gesture, and focusing on breathing, trying not to think about the thoughts, although that's not the aim of the meditation. It's more so bringing awareness to the present moment and the act of breathing. Another type of meditation is mantra. Mantra is repeating a word, a sentence. It allows us to focus on one thing at the time, and it can be maybe easier to tap into this repetitive, mindful way of being by focusing on one sentence. You can focus, for example, on intention you want to bring. Let's say you want to bring more peace. You can breathe in peace and breathe out release. Breathe in peace, breathe out release. That's one type of mantra. Another one could be just counting simply from 1 to 10 and then from 10 to 1 back. Another common mantra would be like, I know I breathe in and then I know I breathe out, because that brings you to the mindful moment of what you're doing right now. Visualization is another type of meditation. This is a practice to visualize specific outcomes, specific experiences we want to attract, or anything that brings the peace of mind. You might want to sit and visualize a peaceful scenery such as a lake or a waterfall that washes away all the negative thoughts, all the anxiety. It might be beneficial for people to ease their stress, ease their circumstances, their emotions, to bring themselves into this more joyful and positive state of mind. Another common type of meditation is the guided meditation. This is a meditation when someone guides you through it by the words, music. There is a lot of apps that you can use for guided meditations, such as Headspace or Insight Timer, and they're amazing for starting out, for bringing this mindfulness into a practice. They can be done any time of the day when you're sitting, having your coffee, or when you have a moment for yourself, and just putting like this 5-minute meditation to bring the positivity in. Another meditation we have here is an active meditation. This type of meditation can be in any form of exercise, walking, cleaning, doing any tasks, finding something that takes your mind from the worries and brings it into the present moment, brings it into the awareness of the activity you're doing. This can be also like drinking tea mindfully, eating mindfully, any type of activity that you like doing, like swimming or climbing or maybe doing yoga. These are all forms of active meditation. And it's important that you find something that is suitable for you, for your needs, and that brings you this joy and mindful state of being. That's important to notice. Gazing is the last type of meditation. It's not as common as the other ones, but it's also a good practice to try sometimes, just to see if it's something that works for you. Gazing can be into a body of water, into the fire, into the flame, like a candle flame, into mirrors. The black mirrors are common in witchcraft for scrying, so that could be a form of meditation, also enhancing psychic abilities. And all of these types of meditation, they have one aim in common. They're training the focus and the ability to sustain the mind undisturbed from outer influences. It's like allowing your mind to rest without unnecessary clutter, without unnecessary movement, so that you can focus on what you really want to achieve. And this is important part of the spellcast, because without this ability to focus on your outcome, it's very difficult to bring it into their life. So that's why meditation is one of my favorite ways of tapping into the magical realm of mind and psychic powers. Focusing mind, as I was saying, is a very, very important part of practice, and the ability to focus on one thing for an extended period of time gives us the opportunity to direct our intention to a specific outcome. As I said, very important if you want to bring the results into your life, bring new circumstances, opportunities, anything that you have in your mind, anything specific. Focusing mind also brings us to the flow states, which can be described as a mindful observation, being in alignment and balance with the circumstances, surroundings, with our own being, having this alignment of mind, body, and spirit, that they work together into one outcome. Also being present and one with the experience. This allows us to tap into this, I like to call it the sea or the ocean of unlimited possibilities. This is a place where all the potential lies. And when you're in this flow state, it's easier to tap into that and hold your focus there, so it will intentionally gravitate towards us until it manifests. And manifestation is the end result of any spell casting. So as you can see, all of these steps are important in order to bring what we want into our lives. Also, the flow state allows us to transform unconscious into conscious. Here I have a little exercise for you. This exercise is similar to the one that you can find in the book called Psychic Witch by Matt Oren. And in this book, he recommends to count as a way to focus the mind without any disruption. So you can start from counting like 10 to 0. It depends on your mind. Like if you're able to focus on one thing without drifting away, that might be easy for you to start from 50 or 100 and counting to 0 backwards. But for someone that is a bit absent-minded or has monkey mind, as the Buddhists call it, it's great to start like from 10, from 20, from a number that is comfortable for you. When I started doing these exercises, I had a really, really hard time going from 100 to 0, and it took me an hour to do it, because every time I was drifting away, I had to go back to 100, and counting back was really something difficult. But with time it got easier. I found a way to do it because I was able to visualize the numbers and combine the visual aspect of this exercise together with counting and focus to bring myself to this state of flow, the state of being present and one with the only thing that I'm thinking about, which is the number that is currently in my mind screen. So this is a great exercise to try whenever you want to enhance the ability to focus, to meditate, to hold the attention on one thing for a longer period of time. Raising vibration is our next step in this module. An important thing to mention here is that the world operates in terms of energy, vibrations, and frequency. And this is something that my beloved Nikola Tesla was all about. He was studying the frequencies and the mind and spirit and interconnections. This is a scientific thing. I like to think of magic as the science that hasn't been discovered yet. And I always approach it as experiment. So for me, understanding that the world is energy gives this huge possibility for change and for experiencing different circumstances, different things in my life. Because when we realize that anything physical, anything in this world is compound of these molecules that always move, and in a nutshell, they're like just frequencies that move in the different speeds. That's amazing to think, because then you don't have to focus on the car. You're not focusing on the car like a physical thing that is hard. Like, how am I going to bring the car from my mind to the reality? Just focusing on one little molecule at a time, bringing it closer and getting this idea of fluidity within everything that's around. One of the universal laws states that similar frequencies gravitate towards each other and create coherence. This is known as the law of attraction and is also known in witchcraft as sympathetic magic, like attracts like. And using correspondences, for example, if we think about love, we think about roses, the color red or pink, and the scent of jasmine, rose, and the sweet floral scents. So these are the correspondences, and it's the same thing we do with magic spells. We just bring this intent, our ideal result, outcome we want to achieve, and think like what corresponding things have the same like frequency, same vibration, give us the same feeling, and then we put it into a spell to enhance the magic. That's how everything works based on attraction. Law of attraction states that you have to be on the same vibrational level as something that you want to attract. Let's say I want to attract a partner. Well, I don't, but let's say that's an example. I want to attract a partner, not a specific one, but I want it to be someone that is loving, caring, generous, have a great sense of humor, likes to organize things, and is emotionally stable. And to attract this person into my life, I need to become that person myself. Otherwise, we will possibly meet somewhere on the street or in a library, wherever, but we will not be attracted to each other, or we will not have this energetical coherence for us to meet. It's the same thing with accumulating wealth or having a certain type of villa in your possession. If you don't feel like that's something you can achieve, you're not gonna get it. If you don't feel like you're worthy of it, you will not get it. If there is any thought or feeling of doubt or regret or negative emotion connected to your dream reality, or fear is the biggest one, you're not gonna get it because you're stopped by these emotions that are not coherent, that are not in alignment with what you want to achieve. And this makes sense. Whenever we talk about raising vibration, we want to feel good. We want to bring this good energy so we can then channel it to something we want to attract, whether it is with a spell, with a ritual, with any manifestation techniques available there, law of attraction. All you need to do is to raise your vibration. And here we're going to talk about different methods of raising vibration. First on the list, we have gratefulness practice. And it's amazing because it brings us to this state of feeling like we have it, feeling that we are not bad in our circumstances because we are grateful for what we have. And this is important for bringing this emotional coherence with what we want to attract more of. So if you're grateful for the food, for the water, for the shelter, for people around you, for the family, for anything that happens in your life, even if it's a negative experience, it teaches something. So being grateful for all of these lessons and blessings gives this idea that there will be more coming in the future as well. Positive emotion, another big one, because positive emotions have a higher frequency. So like gratefulness is higher than fear or resentment or anything that is lower vibrational nature. Meditation, as I said, it brings us to the peaceful, harmonious, mindful state of being. It's great for raising vibration. And uplifting music, that can be music that you like listening to, or special frequency music like solfeggio frequencies that are specific to tune us into different states of mind, different emotional or internal states. Another method of raising vibration could be drumming, rattles, gongs, singing bowls, bells, anything that moves this energy and brings it into the higher state. Next on the list we have nature. Nature, as you can imagine, it's very grounding, it's very peaceful, predictive in a way. It's like bringing ourselves into the nature gives us this no restrictions. We're one with the nature, with one with the flow and the nature of things. So that's amazing. Going swimming, going hiking, hugging trees, climbing, anything that is meant to connect us with the physical, natural world. Similar with sunlight. Lots of people say that sunlight is very beneficial for health reasons, for and spiritual reasons, for getting this vitamin D into our cells and absorbing a bit of this active, happy, positive energy from the sun. High vibrational people, these are the people that you love spending time with, and these are the people that brings out the best of you. They're amazing to have around because together with them you can create this resonance and even amplify your energies, amplify the emotions and happiness and these caring energies. It's amazing if you have a group of friends like this. Exercise is great as well. Any type of movement that is meant to bring stagnant energy into motion. Yoga is especially good for any spiritual active practices, but also swimming, also running, any type of sports that you like doing. Dancing is a great one, like you can dance before your rituals to raise vibration. So these are just methods that I have here, but these are not limited. Like you need to think for yourself, like what raises your vibration, what brings you into this happier, more fulfilled living. This can be anything from surrounding yourself with beautiful crystals of high vibration and they make you happy because you have them around, or having specific colors around you. Also important to notice here is a high vibrational diet and hydration, because these are two things that build our bodies, and if we put crap into ourselves, we're gonna feel crap because we have to digest it. If we put happy food, colorful food into our beings, we're gonna be more happy, vibrant, colorful inside. High vibrational diet would be something like fruit, vegetables, unprocessed foods, grains, nuts, seeds, anything of the natural origin. I wouldn't recommend dairy or meat for that purpose, because even if they're sourced from good places, grass-fed and free-range, for example, they still have the ability to ground us, which is not necessarily bad, but if you want to raise the vibration, the food should be as much light as possible. Hydration, important thing. I mentioned water, not necessarily any type of teas or soft drinks, juices, but just water. Another thing you might want to try is chanting or singing using your voice, tapping into throat chakra, being proud of your voice, being true to your voice. And the last would be forgiveness. Forgiveness gives us this emptiness. If we hold grudges, we give this power away to something else. And if we forgive the situations and the people, we regain this power, so that automatically raises our vibrations and gives us more power to perform any type of spell. Next on this presentation, I have an exercise, Cone of Power. This is a Wiccan tradition, I believe, but I think it's useful to find your own way to raise this cone of power. This can be done in a circle together with your friends, together with other witches practicing, but also solitary. Just like on this image here, I want you to gather your energy in the bottom of your spine, in the root chakra, and transfer it upwards in the shape of a cone. How we do it? First, we sit, stand if you prefer, and connect with the earth energy. This can be done through the grounding, like imagining a root coming down, connecting to the earth core, and coming up to connect with our root chakra and travel up through all the chakras, through the spine, up to the crown chakra here, where we open it and we connect with the celestial energies that go down. Visualize this energy accumulating in one spot. It can be a heart center, but it can be also above the head. When we gather this energy from both earth and the space, we then can gather, and we're ready with the focus and intention. We can release it to the universe to do the work. This will depend on you and on your practice. You might want to find a different method that will suit your needs. But remember that whenever you raise your vibration, to ground yourself. Grounding can have many forms. We will talk about it in the last module of this course. But for a quick note, you can ground yourself with food, with stomping, with connecting to the earth element, connecting to your senses, focusing on present reality. The last lesson and the last stop in this module is types of spells. We will go quickly over the most common types of spells, as well as of types of magic that you might want to perform. Witchcraft is a craft that uses versatile ways to bring magical outcomes into reality. Many DIY projects and daily activities can turn into spells with the intention and will of the practitioner. Anything you do can be a spell. Anything you do can be a ritual. This gives a great opportunity for someone that is in the broom closet that doesn't want to be open about practicing, because watering your plants can be a magical act. Drinking the coffee in the morning, cleaning your house, lighting a candle, lighting a nice incense, or anything that you do mindfully and with full focus and intention can become a spell or a practice of magic. That's great news, because anyone can practice at all times without unnecessary ingredients. with the mind alone as well. But for other types that we might want to include, these are baths, spiritual baths that intend to bring something, cleanse, maybe bring healing, remove negative thoughts, bring more love. It will depend on the intention. Another type is sigil magic, when you craft a sigil that you can wear on your body, put in your book of shadows, put on your computer, on your phone, on the soles of your shoes, to carry with you in your wallet. Many ways to incorporate sigils and magical symbols. Cooking is a great spell crafting activity. Can be done without anyone noticing, just knowing your herbs, knowing your intention and the energies, vibrations of these herbs that you put into cooking. Also knowing that stirring clockwise brings things in, stirring anti-clockwise takes them away. Puppets are representations of people, maybe animals. They can be used for healing practices. They are very similar to pouches and bags because they can include any symbols, any herbs, crystals inside the puppets as well. Petitions are written words of something we want to achieve, and we can petition towards our deities, towards the spirits, towards ancestors, towards our higher self if we don't believe in anything else, or towards the universe, petitioning for something that can be brought to our lives or removed. Spell jars, very common these days on TikTok and Instagram. These are little jars that you fill with ingredients corresponding with your intention. They can have all possible intentions or types of magic put into them, such as self-love, money, healing, protection. Divination is a form of magic, mostly used for receiving messages from the spirit world, for focusing on the course of our life, the course of our spell work. Divinatory tools can be also used in spells, such as a focal point. Let's say you want to use the rune Bjarkana or Berkana, which symbolizes wealth, prosperity, manifestation. You can use this symbol to bring it into your life by incorporating into a spell jar or a pouch or something physical that you carry on yourself. Candle spells incorporate candles. It's a quick spell that you can enhance with different oils, with different herbs, by anointing and dressing the candles, also writing intentions of them, different symbols, placing crystals around them to make a simple spell with a candle. Usually candles are picked in a color that corresponds with the intention of our spell as well. Oils and potions, another form of magic. They can also be called elixirs. They might be in the form of a tea, tincture, oil, anything of liquid nature. They can be used for blessing, for consecrating, for cleaning, cleansing, for bringing different states if ingested, such as herbal teas. And they can also serve as offerings for our spirits, for the deities that we work with. The next type is magical bags and pouches. These are like sachets that you can put your corresponding items in and close them. Carry the pouches or the sachets on yourself, put them in your car, put them in a purse, in your home, to bring this intention, to bring this outcome into the reality. Last on this list is the knot magic. It's anything that incorporates knots, and knots can be used as a reservoir of energy. So they can be knotted, let's say, during the full moon and embracing it with the full moon energy. And then whenever we need this energy in our spell, and let's say it's waning moon and we want to infuse this with more potent full moon energy, which is untie the knot and get this energy in our circle. Knot magic can be also used in crafts such as knitting, crochet, macrame, anything that incorporates knots and threads. Other types of magic, these are more so focused on their intention. So we have attraction magic, which is designed to bring something into our lives. It is best performed during the waxing moon. We have also banishing magic. It's something that we want to get rid of in our lives. For example, we can banish negative emotions from entering to our home. We can banish negative habits. Next magic type, we have binding. Binding is restricting the actions of specific energies within our lives. So we can bind ourselves from performing unhealthy habits, for example. Cooking, as I mentioned, kitchen witchery is a big part of magic. Any cooking can be done with intention of something specific, such as bringing wealth, bringing more love, healing, focus. Healing is a type of spell that intends to heal and bring recovery. It can be in the form of a healing potion, healing bath, a healing cosmetic such as salve or anything you put on your skin, on your hair to heal them. Also, any healing pouches, healing spell jars as well. Love, this is a common spell, and it's about bringing love and relationship, passion into our lives. As I say here, it's not advised to direct the love spell towards a specific person, and it has something to do with the personal ethics of spellcasting. Protection is the magic that intend to protect us from negative surroundings, negative influences. It can also be a protection during travel, during different activities that are a bit dangerous in nature. We can do protection magic of a person, of a space, as well as an object, such as a book of shadow, for example. If we don't want anyone to look into our book of shadows, we can protect it with a specific protection spell, ritual, purification, and that's cleansing in different words. It's something that helps to harmonize the energies within our bodies, within our surroundings, environment. It can be, for example, a smoke cleansing, a spiritual bath, cleaning, like physical cleaning the apartment, the place you live. So there are many methods of purification and cleansing as well. How to choose the right type of spell? First, you need to know your intention. What is it you want to bring into your life? What is the outcome you want to achieve? Let's say that my outcome is to publish a book. And then if I have this intention in my mind, I'm asking myself, what type of magic would best suit this intention and desired outcome? So I can think of maybe making a small pouch that will have anything that corresponds with the vibration of publishing a book. Maybe I will put there a name of the publisher, maybe a small petition to my deities, maybe a small representation of a book, maybe crystals that are connected to creativity and to writing, herbs that help to boost confidence and aid in writing and creative expressions, anything that connects to throat chakra, because that's also a part of expressing myself in a book. So if you have your intention, think about how would you approach this in a spell work? Like what type of spell work? Is it a bath? Is it a tincture, a tea, something that you can use as a lotion on yourself? Something that you can do daily, such as drinking tea with an intention. Anything can be turned into this magical spell, magical workings. Also, another thing to ask yourself is like, what items do you have available at hand? So you don't necessarily have to be researching a spell that you want to perform and then you realize, oh, I don't have dragon's blood, I don't have frankincense, I don't have Larimar crystal, and then what do? You don't have half ingredients. It's important to think like what you have available and what represents that intention. So these are a couple of things to consider. On the right side, you can see that spells can be combined together to make a more profound ritual. Ritual is combined of certain actions, of certain little steps that you do intentionally with magical focus, intention, and will to bring something. Let's say maybe we want to attract more self-love into our lives. We can do purifying and also self-love bath at the beginning, then cleanse the surroundings with incense that is intended to bring love, then drink a rose tea or hibiscus tea, And then at the end, we just make a little spell jar of representation of our intention that we can keep on ourselves as a reminder that we need to focus more on loving ourselves. As an assignment for this module 2 of our Magick course, I want you to focus on the same intent that you chose in the previous module and think about what type of spell would work best for that intention. Think about what you have available, what type of magic do you like performing the most, such as candle magic or making tinctures and oils. Think about anything that you can incorporate into this spell. You can also download the printable I prepared for that to make it a part of this exercise. Thank you for watching the module 2 and see you in the module 3. Hello and magical welcome in the third module of our course, Magick, the Art of Spellcasting. In this module, we're going to focus on magical guidelines and talk a little bit about magical ingredients, witchcraft tools, as well as the colors in Magick. On the first slide, we have magical ingredients, and these will vary on the type of spell you want to perform or what you have available around you. These can be crystals and stones, plants, all parts of plants such as flowers, roots, branches, leaves, any types of herbs like cooking herbs, teas. These are very common ingredients and they can be used either in any type of spellcraft or kitchen witchery, added to baths, made into teas for drinking, any types of elixirs and potions as well. The next, we have oils, and these can be essential oils or carrier oils. Essential oils are basically the essence of plants. So we have like rosemary essential oil, tea tree essential oil. They all have different correspondences and can be used for magical oils for anointing candles or petitions, or maybe diffusing in the room to make it smell nice and bring the intention in our environment. Carrier oils are the base oils that we use for holding the essential oils, because usually they are not safe to use on their own. They have to be diluted. The most common ones could be like olive oil or any type of plant or seed oil. I like to use jojoba, which is great for keeping the oils long term. The next ingredient, we have water. It can be spring water, ocean or sea water, also moon water, blessed water, any type of water that is infused with intention, with some energies, or even water that we use for making teas and magical potions, also baths. Natural materials, these can be anything that comes from nature, such as shells, bones, sand, dirt, different types of like rocks, as I said before, but anything that you find in nature can be used in magic, and they all have different associations, different correspondences and uses in magic. Salt is another common ingredient that is used in most spells. This can be a sea salt, kitchen salt, Himalayan salt. Also, a common ingredient is black salt that you make by combining salt with ashes, with maybe some essential oils for protection and for cleansing. And the last ingredient would be personal items. These are like hair, nail clippings, something that is very personal to our craft. It can be like a little amulet, talisman, a symbol, souvenirs. This gives additional personalization towards the spell. So if we want to make a general healing spell, we could use a hair or a nail clipping added into a bottle or a sachet that represents our personal energies, and thus this spell will work towards our person. All of the magical ingredients are chosen based on sympathetic magic, and this is common in all sorts of witchcraft and practices, and based on the law or statement that like attracts like. This means that, for example, if we want to heal, we would bring the ingredients that are healing in nature. So that could be echinacea, for example, because it's widely used for healing. Also, anything that we associate with healing intention, the colors, different materials, they would be a part of this type of spell. Same with love. If we associate roses and color pink or red with love, maybe red crystals, it all corresponds based on sympathetic magic. The most common herbs in witchcraft, this is just a simple list. It's not all inclusive. It's just something I use a lot in my practice, and I think it's good to start with these 8 herbs. First, we have lavender. Lavender is great for peace, for calming energies, for protection as well, longevity, purification, happiness. It's great for sleeping, so it can be added to any relaxing spells and promoting sleep. Next, we have basil. Basil is a herb of love. It's great to use it when we want to bring more love into our life, or we can gift it to people that are moving together, for example. It's also a plant of wealth and abundance, so it can be added to any money spells. Another great ingredient for protection as well. Jasmine, a love flower. It's very expensive in form of essential oil, but if you want to try it, you can get like the dry jasmine, and it's great for love, attraction, also for money work. It can be added to sachet for prophetic dreams, for dreaming and enhancing intuition. Rosemary is known as all-purpose herb that can be a substitute for any other herb in your spell work, in your ritual. So to substitute some other ingredient, you can use rosemary and enhance it with your intention, enhance it with your power. Rosemary is also great for protection. It can be added to any cleansing and purification sprays, baths, water for blessings. Also a great herb for love, mental powers, for memory, for enhancing our ability to focus. And whenever we want to study, for example, we can use rosemary. Lemon balm is often found in tea bags and can be made into a potion, like an elixir to drink. It's great for love, for success, and for healing. Mugwort, it's a witchy herb that is commonly used for anything that we want to increase within our psychic abilities. It's great for protection, for prophetic dreams, for healing, astral projection, also for lucid dreaming. Bay leaf is known mostly for the wishing abilities. Lots of people write intentions on bay leaves and then they burn them. Bay leaf can also be used for protection, psychic powers, for healing, for purification, for strength. And as I said, for wishing magic, so it can be added into sachets or almost all sorts of spells as well. Rose, that's another lovely love ingredient used for anything based on attraction, love, emotional healing. It's a great plant for protection because of the thorns. For example, you can use the thorns separately in protection sachet, in protection jars. Also great herb for luck and psychic powers. So these are my types. There's way more herbs than I can talk about here, but I think when researching the herbs needed for our spell or for our ritual, it's good to get a couple of books that are great for these purposes. I have here just freshly ordered Botanical Magic, that's about essential oils in Magick. And also my all favorite book about herbs, it's called Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs by Scott Cunningham. This is a great resource for researching herbs. Another one I have ordered recently is the Plant Witchery by Julia Diaz, and has 200 plants in it. It's also a great resource to find magical correspondence of each plant and herb that you want to use in your magic. Now we're gonna jump to most common crystals in witchcraft. I picked these ones because I think they are most versatile crystals that you can use in your magical practice as well. They correspond with chakras and are really great for overall balancing energies. First, we have rose quartz. Rose quartz is known for attracting love, for bringing more self-love, peace, happiness, and also success in relationships. It's a great stone for children, very soothing energy. So whenever you need this loving, nurturing, calming energy, it's great to use rose quartz. Citrine is a stone of success, prosperity, magic, psychic powers, and happiness. It's great to add to any money spells, anything that we want to bring more optimism in, like anything that is connected to solar energies as well. It's great for driving away nightmares at night, so you can keep it under the pillow if you struggle with nightmares. A lot of citrine that is available for purchase, unfortunately, is heat-treated amethyst, and to find out which is the real citrine and which is not, you have to look for the even color throughout the whole crystals instead of just like being yellow in a point and then white in the back. That's heat-treated amethyst. Selenite is a great stone for peaceful, calming energies, but also for energy and cleansing. Selenite can cleanse all the items, all the ingredients that you use. Some people keep selenite with their tarot cards for like cleansing their energies and keeping them always ready to work with. So that's a great tool to have. Black tourmaline is my favorite grounding crystal. It's also great for protection, for repelling negative energies, and it's great to wear it just for general safetyness and well-being of a wearer. Amethyst, it's another versatile stone that is also connected to dreams, to psychic powers, to peace and love, also protection against thieves. Gives the courage and happiness. It's connected to crown chakra, so it's also about the intuition, about anything spiritual. And amethyst name comes from not drunk, which means that it's also great for overcoming any addictions we might have, especially to drinking, but any addictions. Carnelian is a stone of protection, peace, healing, courage, and sexual energies. It's connected to sacral chakra and great for creativity, for bringing out the creative energy and transforming them into this physical realm. That's why it's also great for manifestation purpose. Clear quartz is a all-purpose crystal that can be also a substitute for any other crystal or stone needed in your magic. Clear quartz, in general, it's great for protection, healing, psychic powers. The great quality of quartz crystals is that they are piezoelectric. That means that they transform energies, and thus the quartz crystals can be programmed into any specific intention. So to program a crystal, you can sit with it and meditate for like 10-15 minutes and visualize your intention going through your body into these crystals that you meditate with, and visualize the outcome you want to achieve. So let's say if we want clear quartz to bring the clarity of thoughts, then we visualize ourselves being clear in our minds, having focus and attention. That's a great way to program any quartz crystals. Quartz crystals are actually rose quartz, amethyst, carnelian, citrine, clear quartz, smoky quartz, any quartz with inclusions. I would really recommend to start with quartz crystals because they are fairly hard crystals. They can be made into elixirs and are generally great for any sorts of magic. The last on this list we have lapis lazuli. It's a crystal of intuition, of psychic powers, connected to the third eye, also to healing, love and joy, courage. And it can be placed on the third eye to bring intuition, bring more awareness, and training the psychic abilities and our powers that are lying within the third eye. So these are my favorite crystals to work with, but there's plenty more, and I believe whenever you find yourself drawn to a certain crystals, it's good to get it, it's good to research it, and then see how you can use it in magic. Mostly common crystals that we use in spells are very tiny ones, like crystal chips. They might be harder to obtain, but I think more common are the bracelets that can be just broken into pieces and used in spells instead. Witchcraft tools are anything you want to use. Anything that you feel you might need in your work can be your tool for witchcraft. Here are just some examples, not everything, but I want to mention that cleansing and purifying every time we use something, it's important. Unless you want to build up like your personal energy and you're the only person using the tool, that's okay. But I advise for like cleansing all the ingredients, all the supplies and tools that you use before any spell. That's how you know you have a clean state of each used item in your spell. Also, if you're using tools such as wand or a crystal or something that has one intention for your magic, it's good to consecrate them for the magic purpose and only for magic purpose. So for example, if you have Athame, a ritual knife that you use for cutting invisible things like energies and directing your personal energy, this item is not used for cutting anything physical. Keeping this integrity within the tools we use, it's quite important, but I think I leave it up to your intuition and into your personal preferences, because I'm not gonna say that it's the only possible way you can use any type of knife for ritual purposes, but I think for the best results in magic, it's good that our items are solely used for one certain purpose, because then the intention is clear behind them and behind using these items. Also keeping safe everything that we use, having a dedicated place for them, like an altar or a shelf, maybe a drawer, wrapping them in black natural material to prevent from losing energy, from absorbing energies. It's great practice as well. Just keep these things in mind when starting your witchcraft tools collection. For directing energy, we can use wand, athame, staff, sticks, crystal points, and finger. So these are all ingredients that are used for directing energy, like creating a circle when casting a circle, making a space for sacred work, also for like cutting the energies that are around us or directing these energies toward a specific thing or specific outcome. The tools for cleansing, these can be any type of incense, any type of herb bundles for smoke cleansing, also bells and musical instruments that move stagnant energy. People tend to clap as well to cleanse the space, and salt is commonly used for cleansing as well. For creating spells, I think this will depend on your chosen method of spell casting, of your chosen type of spell. So we have candle magic, so we use candles. Cord and threads, we can use cord magic for making knots, for example. Also materials for wrapping something like a sachet or making a little pouch. This can be anything, I'd say, natural in the origin, such as leather. Also maybe like silk is quite common, cotton, wool, linen, anything of natural and not synthetic origin. Glass bottles and jars are also used for spell crafting, like small jars for making little jars that we can keep on ourselves. They are also used for keeping the ingredients safe, such as herbs and crystals and all sorts of other things. Papers and inks, these are used for writing petitions. Some people say the brown paper, like the more natural paper, the better. I think any paper would work. I use brown paper, but it's up to you. Inks are good in different colors that correspond with intentions, various intentions. And the last on this list is mortar and pestle that we can use for grinding herbs and mixing them together. Other witchcraft tools that can be used in rituals and more ceremonial magic are bowls, cups, broom, cauldron, pentacle, plates, robes, like different clothes, book of shadows, divination tools, tarot cards, pendulum, I Ching, runes, for example, jewelry that is dedicated for magical purposes, also mirrors for scrying, for saying affirmation that can be a part of magical practice, and statues and symbols that usually are representation of something on our altar. So these are the items that you can keep on the altar, or you can use these symbolic energies to perform magic in your sacred space when you create a spell. The last lesson in this module is about color magic. We're gonna go quickly over 12 different colors that are most commonly found around us, I guess, and they obviously have different shades, and I think the different shades of these colors might have various meanings, but the best practice is for you to discover what different colors mean to you. What does the black mean to you? Like, how do you feel when you surround yourself with black, when you wear black, or what emotions this color bring to you? It's very important to have this personalized because it's more powerful this way. So black is all about closing, breaking, mysteries, protection, also reversing, anti-hexing, like if you want to break a hex, security, feeling safe, shielding. So that's a part of protection, and transformation. Blue is a color of blessings, communication, creativity, harmony, healing, intelligence. It's connected really closely to mental powers and inspiration. Also, some people like to use blue for kindness, for peace, and for anything that it's about justice and trust and truth. Brown is about balance, earth energies, grounding, home, nurturing, nature, animals, stability, strength, anything connected to the earth energies. Gold, we use gold for abundance, attractions, confidence, for any type of solar magic, for generosity, luxury, for money, for power, prosperity, victory. Green is about abundance, business, career, also fertility. It's connected to earth element as well, I guess, and harmony, healing, love. Gray is like in between black and white, so it's all about the balance, harmony, also neutralizing and reversing. Mysteries in secrets, it's a color like in between two polarities. Orange is great for ambition, courage, any type of solar and fire energy, beginnings, optimism, new opportunities. I connect orange a lot with creativity because it's the color of sacral chakra that I connect with manifestation and creativity. So that's another correspondences for that color. Pink is about love, all about love, admiration, beauty, this feminine energy, although that's a stereotypical. It's also good for friendships and finding soulmates and bringing more youthfulness into our lives. Purple is color of the crown chakra, so it's connected to wisdom, intuition, astral travels, and its psychic abilities, connected to the spiritual realm, to the spirits, to the ether, all about expansion, having influence because of the royalty association with this color. Red is great for action, ambition, anything of energetic movement, desires, passion, also love, strength, vitality, warmth, also fire magic, any associations that you have with color red. White, it's an all-purpose color that can be also a great substitute for anything. If you don't have a specific color candle, you can use white and it will serve the same purpose. Other uses of white are blessings, cleansing, dreams, fertility, harmony, inspiration, meditation, and peace. Yellow is the last color on this list, and we used yellow for attraction, for solar magic, for focus and clarity, for confidence as well, happiness, optimism, prosperity, and success. So yellow, very solar color. It brings a lot of joyful energies to our lives. Our last stop in this module is about how to choose ingredients for a spell. As I asked you before in previous assignments, I wanted you to find your intention, and according to that intention, choose a type of spell that would suit you the best. And now we're gonna find the needed ingredients. So first we need to ask ourselves, what is the intention? I recommend choosing the same intention from previous modules because we want to create one spell, not all of them, but based on this information, you can repeat this process with any other intention you have. So first we have the intention. Secondly, we have the type of spell we want to perform, whether it is a candle spell or a spell jar or a sachet or bath, or maybe any type of elixir or potion or a spray that we want to use, or maybe kitchen magic, maybe something to eat, for example. So that's the type of spell. The third step would be choosing corresponding ingredients. And I would recommend choose the ones that you already have at home or that are easily obtainable, that you can easily buy in a local store or just order online. The fourth step would be choosing the color corresponding with that intention, and that can be a color of a candle, a color of the wax that you're gonna seal the spell with, a color of the ribbons, a color of the material you want to use, a color that you can wear on you when you perform magic, a color of food that you're gonna eat as a ritual or as a spell. Also, maybe a color of a pen or paper that you're gonna use. That's all about choosing the right color. So let's say we want to create a spell jar for creativity. First, I would state my intention. I would say, I am creative and I express myself through my creative arts every day. So let's say that's a statement that I want to empower in my life. And then I would use a spell jar for that intention. I would gather a small jar, corresponding ingredients, yellow or orange wax, carnelian or citrine for my little crystals in it, maybe sunflower, maybe calendula, any solar empowering plants that I want to use. I would write a petition or intention that I have for that purpose in orange color. And then I would close this everything in a little jar. So that's the ingredients I want to have on hand. Before starting any spell, it's great to research all the ingredients and find the best solution to pick all of them together in one spell. It's also great to remember about incense that you might want to burn, any candles, that you need a lighter for these things. So before we start creating our sacred space and casting a circle, we want to have everything at hand prepared. So this module is all about preparing the ingredients. We're not gonna go over the spellcasting yet, but in 2 weeks' time, your whole course will be finished and you can start creating your magical spells that bring desired outcome into your reality. The assignment for this module is similar as I said before. Please focus on the same intention that you chose in the first module and research needed ingredients such as herbs and crystals, the tools that you might want to use, materials such as ribbons and charms that you want to attach, or any ingredients that correspond with your intention, like symbols, any colors that you might want to include, like colored beads, for example. And that's the assignment for this module. I hope you enjoy this course so far. Please let me know in the comments how you like the information provided here, and see you in the next module. Hello and magical welcome in the fourth module of our course, Magick, the Art of Spellcasting. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about magical intentions and how to set up clear and specific intentions, as well as Enchanted Environment and following by intentional action. There are 3 things needed for a successful spell, and these are the things that I mentioned before. First and foremost, the clear intention. I highly believe that for performing a spell or a magical ritual, we don't need unnecessary ingredients apart of our own personal intention and will. Although the other things such as environment and intentional actions are important to see the results as quickly as possible. A clear intention is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. I will talk about it a bit later in the next lesson of this module. An enchanted environment is a space that allows a change, a thing to happen in our reality. And intentional action is putting our energy, our will into motion, because that's the only way to make this process a bit quicker and actually successful. Setting intentions for success and desired change. As I mentioned before, the intention should be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. This is taken from the SMART method of goal setting, and I highly believe that intention should be like a goal, because then we know we can act on it, we can see the results in a specific time manner, as well as we can measure the success of our spell. The first element of intention is very clear and specific intention or outcome that we want to achieve. This will mean that we need to know what we want and why we want it. The importance of why is that it brings this emotional value to the intention that we want to see. I will talk about my process of setting intention a little bit later, but for now let's focus on the other elements of intention. When it's measurable, we can know that this goal or intention has fulfilled, and that's important part, because I hear a lot of practitioners, especially the beginners, that say, how do I know that my spell is working? I guess we need to give ourselves at least one lunar cycle, 1 month for seeing the results, and also giving this time for it to be fulfilled. I guess 3 months is like a good indication that something is working or something is not really working and it maybe needs adjustments. Another important step of intention is it has to be actionable. It has to be bound in this reality as well, and also in the time space. So let's say our intention is to lose weight. The sentence losing weight, I want to lose weight, is very vague, and it doesn't help us to do any specific work towards it or see why it's important for us. So going through all of these steps, first of all, it has to be specific. So let's say I want to lose 7 kilograms or pounds, I don't know, depending on what your goal is. But this is important to see that we can measure it in a way. So I want to weight and the desired weight, for example. Asking yourself why gives you this emotional indication why this intention is important to you. This might be like, why do I want to weigh a specific amount of kilograms? Because I want to feel more confident. And why do I want to feel more confident? Because I want others to accept me. And then why do I want others to accept me? Because I feel insecure. And then by following this example, we can ask yourself why for each answer that we say. And this allows us to really go deep into the value or emotion that lies behind a certain intention. And sometimes it's important to maybe see from the other side, why do I feel insecure, and work on this belief system in order to make this intention either realistic or see that there's something else that we need to address first before this intention will happen in our reality. Because often what we think that is good for ourselves, it's not the ultimate thing that we want. We want something else, and we want usually emotion that is connected to the intention. This exercise will allow you to see why certain intentions, goals, or outcomes are important to you. As I said, measurable, so let's say 7 kilos, actionable. That's a part that can be like put into small steps on the way. So for example, going for yoga lessons, for swimming twice a week, setting these small steps that we can do every day, like eating healthier or drinking only water or not eating sugar, for example. These are all small actions that we can do every day. Realistic and time-bound, these are all connected together. And I think the intention needs to be able to happen in a specific time and also in our current reality. For example, if I said I want to have $1 million in my account, that's not very realistic, because there is a very small chance that it will happen within a couple of months or within a time that I set to myself. But if it's my 10-year goal plan, that's more realistic, because that's possible. The same if we want to weigh a certain amount of kilograms or pounds, and then our body is not going to accept it because, I don't know, we have a strong bone structure and that weight wouldn't be healthy for us. So it all has to be kind of in balance with our current reality, current resources that we have, the current environment as well. So these all things are super, super important. Let's talk a little bit about examples of powerful intentions. And these are the examples that follow all of these 5 steps, which are having a specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound intention. For example, by a specific date, I work in a company as a dream profession. Another one, in every month of 2022, I earn more than the amount of my dream wage. Another one is in 2022, I meet my partner who is, and here we state all the specific qualities of a dream girlfriend or boyfriend without focusing on a specific person. So the more specific intention, the better. It's good to do exercises, asking yourself all the questions that I'm going to mention at the end of this module, and seeing if these intentions bring you specific feelings, maybe looking forward to the dream reality. So I guess these are important steps to take when we want our spell to be successful. Also, every time you set an intention, check how you feel. Imagine this scenario as your reality. Positive emotions power up and energize all our intentions. So this exercise with why, I think this gives a great opportunity to explore this emotional state connected to the intention we want to have. Always check up with your emotions because they're a great indicator that something is really, really powerful for you. Enchanted Environment is a place that we make for a change to happen. And as you can see in this little green box here, the change cannot happen in the same environment that caused the problems in the first place. This aims towards any life changes that we want to bring in our lives, because same actions, same intentions, same environment create same results. So if we want to see the change, we have to trigger all of these 3 important steps. First, intention, our mindset, I guess, and then enchanted environment, which is everything around us. The good thing to try is to live as if this desired outcome is already a part of our reality. And I always like to give this example. If you want to attract a partner, I'm always saying not a specific one, just someone to love and to care about and someone to be with. It's good to make space in our environment, in our home for that partner. So for example, that can mean buying a bigger bed or an extra toothbrush, or maybe making some space in the morning for like quality time together where you focus on the love that you can give to yourself as you wish somebody gave to you. So this can mean like preparing a beautiful breakfast and eating it quietly, leaving this open space for someone to be there with you in the future. That's one of the examples. Another one is like, let's say, the intention of losing weight. If we enchant the environment for this change to happen, we might, for example, prepare the clothes for working out and put them beside the bed every night. That's why when we wake up in the morning, they're ready there and we can jump into and do some exercises. Another thing would be going and buying the gym membership, or buying some yoga lessons or Pilates, or throwing out all processed foods and sweets from our cupboards. So these are all the steps that we can do to enchant the environment. Another thing to mention here is that having a clear mind and clear environment is super important, because that gives the space for things to happen. Being open, being simple about what we have around, but also leaving the space for the things that we want to achieve, attract. It's important to think about, like, what can we do? What changes in the environment will support our dream job, our dream reality? What clothes would I wear if it was real? How would I behave? Where would I go? What type of places I would visit? Also, what type of people I want to be surrounded with. It's all a part of this big environment, and enchanting it is just making it magical for things to happen. and also having the integrity of our goals and reality. For example, if we want to stop drinking or smoking, going to pubs or meeting up with people that enjoy this type of entertainment, that wouldn't be not necessarily a good environment. Like, think about it in a way that your dream reality should have a place in this reality already, because we can make spells, but if the environment is not ready for that change, I don't think that's going to happen. So have that in mind when setting intentions. And let's jump to the next lesson. An intentional action is something that a lot of practitioners don't necessarily think about. For some people, magic is this magical way of things just happening. And I believe it's possible if we have clearly aligned goals with our own state of being. But for most of us, there's a lot of friction, and I call it energy friction. That means that there is some energies that might disturb our progress or anything that we want to achieve within a spell, a ritual, or just in general in life. Avoiding energy friction, that means being able to center and focus our being, clear the space and mind with, for example, meditation and cleaning the surroundings. Grounding energies, that's also important to be grounded in this reality so we can bring the change in this reality, not necessarily in the mental state, like in the mental reality or in a dream etheric space that is not yet physical. Some people just stay on this level and imagine all the beautiful things, but without grounding this energy, it's not so easy to see the changes. Also raising vibration, because the law of attraction states that like attracts like, and that means that if we want to bring something into our life, we need to vibrate on the same frequency as the thing we want to bring in. So if we want more love, we need to become this love ourselves. That's another important thing to mention here. Also protecting ourselves from other influences that will disturb our progress. These are the things that I think should be in place before setting any type of intention, any type of action, because they will allow us to flow with this state and have things manifest with more ease. When the path is clear, we can move the energy and objects to work in our favor. Imagine this as like not having too much friction and things just happen to you like synchronistically. And I've seen this a lot of time in my life, that when my mind is clear, when my heart is clear and emotions are in tune with everything, just life just happens as it's supposed to without unnecessary like processing, clutter or friction, as I call it, because that's the flow. And I think a lot of this intentional living comes to being mindful of each step of the path, but also giving the space for things to happen naturally. And the last thing is putting energy in motion. That can be something very simple like lighting a candle. This is a physical act that we do with an intention to bring the desired reality into our life. So for example, this can be also saying a prayer or doing a little spell jar or crafting a little charm that will remind us of the intention we have. Keeping the momentum by consistent action directed towards a specific goal. And these are all the little steps that we can do on a daily basis to bring desired change into our lives. This can be anything from making an intentional coffee in the morning or tea, and then having a nice walk when we just center our energies and meditate on the dream life, saying affirmations in the mirror, believing in ourselves, doing little steps towards the goal. So like having like 30 minutes of yoga if we want to lose weight, or having this like self-love ritual if we want to attract a partner into our life. So these are all the little steps, just like in goal setting. We have a little achievements every day towards something that we care about and we want to see in our reality. And another little note in the corner is every time you set an intention, check how you feel imagining this scenario as your reality. Positive emotions power up and energize all our intentions. Very, very important thing. And I think not stressed enough in the community. Emotions are energy in motion. That means that they power up all our being and bring the results quicker, and something that is more aligned with our being. I prioritize emotions above all, because mindfully we can think about something, but the emotion behind it, that's the thing when the magic happens. Here are couple of examples of intentional action. These are just general examples. They can be worked in most of the intentions. There will be also different type of intentions, like, I don't know, having a healthy sleep. That will include all the sleeping hygiene, for example, having fresh air before bed and not eating before bed and not watching screens, and etc., etc. That's all the specific steps and action for each of the specific intentions, but these are the general ideas. For the mental action, we can say affirmation, we can do intentional meditations, also practice visualization, as well as create a specific timeline and synchronize it with the current one, which is called quantum jumping. This is a topic on its own, but for example, you can visualize your dream reality, and then every time you get out from the shower, you can just think that you're stepping into that timeline that is most beneficial for you. That's, in a nutshell, an example of quantum jumping. Emotional action could be something as feeling as if it's already true, the intention. Also, emotional checkup when you're doing things. Being mindful of emotions, like let's say we have a problem with eating unhealthy processed foods, and if we do it mindfully and see how we feel when we do it and after, that's checking up with the emotions when doing a specific action. Also, when we eat good food, it's important to see how we feel and get in tune with these emotional side of our life. Also, surrendering ourselves with people and things that make us feel a specific way. If there are people that make you feel good, it's better to spend time with them than with someone that is complaining all the time, because that's also about the vibrational frequencies of the group. Emotional vibrational field will affect how you feel and how you can manifest your dream reality. The last, most important is appreciation and gratitude. These are amazing tools for raising vibrations and also emotional lifting. Having a gratitude list or something that you do every day, like thank the universe, thank the God, thank people around you, and be just grateful for everything that happens and that your life is beautiful. This will create more opportunities like this, and you will realize them with more ease if you're doing it on a daily basis. And the last would be a physical action. That's the most tangible action that you can do. This would involve anything that you can do, like either with your hands, walking, or making this reality. I would say, for example, if you want a job, a physical action would be actually writing down a CV and going to places and leave it there. These are also important, even in Magick, because they say to the universe that I'm doing action, I'm ready for this reality, for this dream to come true. And it's a powerful thing if everything is in line and things just happen as they're supposed to. So making progress in small steps, focusing energy on the goal and doing accompanied action every day. Lighting a physical candle, for example, as a representation of a bridge between your desired reality and the current one. So these are the small steps, actions that you can do to support your intentions, support your dreams. The last thing would be how to set up an intention for a spell. So these are the questions I think are quite important for everyone to even just think about, but also write them down before setting an intention. This will help you to make them more specific, and together with this SMART method, but as well find the emotions behind them, which are very important as well. So the first question is, what is your dream outcome? I asked you in the first module to think about the intention, think about something you want to achieve after completing this course. So this is a time to make it more specific and based in this reality, I guess. The second question would be, why do you want to achieve it? And ask yourself why a couple of times. Like whenever you get an answer, ask yourself, why do you want this thing? Until you get to this core answer that is sometimes like very surprising, I would say, because there is a lot of things that lie beneath our conscious mind, and if we spend a little bit of time with them, it's easier to get to the root cause of all our dreams and desires, I guess. So this exercise would be beneficial for sure. Okay, next question is how you can make it more specific. So specific as much as you can. Like if you want a car, what car you want, what color, how do you want it to be inside, where would you go? Imagine yourself in this car. So the more specific you are, the better. Next one, is it measurable and is it realistic? So these are two connected together. How would I know it will happen? And is there a space in my reality? Is my environment enchanted enough for this dream to happen, for this intention to happen? Another one, what actions can you do every day to make it happen? So these actions that I said, physical, mental, emotional, very, very important in any type of spell if you want to see the results. Because if you want it to be just dreams and magic, then I guess that's not how it happens, at least not for quite a long time, I guess. It takes practice to get things happen like this, but it's possible. But I think this is a more reasonable way, just to do some little actions towards the intentions, towards the goals, knowing that we can be in control of our actions and mental states and emotions, the way that we can enchant the environment for things to happen. Next thing, by when do you want it to happen? This is a time-bound thing. How do you feel when you think about your dream outcome? That's about, again, the feeling of this happiness, gratitude, and just being excited about what's to come. The last green quote for today, your intention is the most important part of the spell. Spend some time to make it beautiful. And I truly encourage you to do it, because intention is everything. Intentional life makes magic happen. The assignment for today is focusing on the same intention as you chose in the first module. Write it in a way that is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. Make sure that when you say it, it feels positive and you are excited to see it happen. Additionally, you can do a plan for your intention. State like, I'm going to do this thing every day. I'm going to do this thing every week, this thing every month. I'm gonna measure it in a specific way. The more specific, the better. I just leave it up to you how you wanna do this exercise. And thank you so much for watching the module 4, and I'm gonna meet you in the last module, which is going to be about casting and summarizing everything that we need for making a powerful spell of our own. Thank you. Hello and magical welcome in the last module of the course, Magick, the Art of Spellcasting. This is the last topic we're gonna cover in this course, and it's all about the spellcasting. First, we're gonna go over spiritual cleansing. Then I talk a little bit about casting circle. Another exercise or topic I want to cover is cone of power, which we talked a little bit about in the second module, but I'm just gonna refresh this topic a little bit more. And at the end, we're gonna go over step-by-step spellcasting process. So I hope by the end of this module, you'll be able to cast your own spell and see the results that you wish to implement in your life. Let's jump to the first lesson. Spiritual cleansing is one of the most important topics in this course, and I really want to stress the importance of cleansing in any type of practice. When we perform magic, we want to start with a clean state, something that is neutral and has a lot of potential and possibility in it. So cleansing of all the outer influences is important to stay focused on our own energy and use it in a beneficial way. Energetical and spiritual cleansing allows casting a spell from a balanced and neutral place. And it's really good to cleanse ourselves cleanse the space, cleanse all the magical tools and ingredients we want to use. Also, a regular cleansing practice prevents the negative energy from building up and also brings harmonious and balanced environment. This allows us to live with more integrity and be more mindful and aware of our energy during the day. There are many cleansing methods that you can try, and the most common one is the smoke cleansing, sometimes referred to as smudging, although that's a closed practice, so I'm just going to use the term smoke cleansing, which is generally the same idea, that you cleanse yourself, your space, the surroundings, items with help of the smoke. And it can be a smoke from an incense, from all types of incense, like a cone incense, a loose incense, a stick incense, also like dried herbal bundles, sometimes referred as smudge sticks. They can be made from different herbs, such as sage. And as I said before about the ethic of spellcasting, I don't recommend using the white sage for that purpose because it's an endangered plant. But you can use the garden sage, make the smoke herbal bundle by yourself with different herbs such as mugwort or cedar or eucalyptus or other herbs associated with cleansing. Another common methods are intention and visualization. These can be anything from imagining the light that is cleansing our body, our surroundings. It can be a golden light or a white light, something that reminds you of this high energy that cleanses everything from the negativity and residue energies. Another common method of cleansing is sound cleansing, and this can include the specific music, specific vibrations, also voice and clapping, using bells and different instruments that move the energy around you. So for example, clapping, it's like a loud wave of something that releases this old energy. The same goes with bells. You can go around and cleanse yourself with a bell or all the items, also using Tibetan bowls, as you can see on the picture here, or anything that produces sound, like tuning forks, for example. One of the most common ingredients used for cleansing is salt, and it can be used when you cast a circle, for example. It can be put around your house to absorb the negative energy, also made into salt water that can be used for anointing candles or objects or ourselves in order to cleanse the energy. Some people like to cleanse with elements, and you can use all the elements for that, like fire, water, earth, and air. They all can help you with cleansing. You can also ask the elementals, the guardians of the elements, to help you with cleansing. For example, asking the fire element to burn all the negativity around you. Sometimes even people use the flame of a candle to pass items through it, but please be careful. That's not a practice for everyone and for all the items as well, because some of them are easily burned. Same, we can use water. Water is a natural cleansing and healing element. Taking a shower with a visualization of releasing all negativity and energy down the drain and leaving the clean state for us. Sometimes you can read in the books, for example, to take a spiritual cleansing bath before performing a ritual or a spell. That's an additional thing to do to remove these negativity and other energies surrounding us. Also on my YouTube channel, Witch Journal, you can find the cleansing spray that I made a couple of weeks ago. It's a mist that I can spray around to cleanse my spiritual and energetic body. You can do the same with such spray or any intentionally made spray for that purpose. Another idea is to use crystals that can absorb these energies from around us. We can wear them, but again, it's important to cleanse these crystals from energies. So They can help with cleansing, but they also need to be cleansed as well. The last idea or thing to try for cleansing is to ask guardians, angels or spirits or deities to help you with cleansing. There's a couple of deities that you can work for that purpose, or you can find your own help from the spiritual realm. So I guess that's the topic of spiritual cleansing. As I said, very important in everyday practice, and especially in any form of rituals or spell casting, because that's the first step to successful spell. Another important topic that I want to cover today is a magical circle. And most of the witches, not all of them, cast a circle before performing a ritual or a spell. And this is done to protect our energies from outer influences. Also, create a barrier between a physical and spiritual reality. So what we do in the circle is a magical act, an act of higher emotions, higher energy, and it separates our state from the outer mundane world. As I said, it prevents the influence of other energies that might interfere with the spell, and this is done to protect ourselves, because when we perform magic and when we raise the energy and vibration, we are putting like a spiritual beams of light into the world, and it acts like a light that attracts all these murky, dark energies, or not necessarily dark, but imagine like moths and anything that's attracted to high vibration and light that can come to you and interfere or eat your energy, does make the spell less powerful, for example. So it's important to protect ourselves, make a barrier, and also think about something that will help us to stay focused and mindful when performing a spell or ritual. Creating this sacred space in a circle, it also marks the time and the space for us to be focused on one thing. And this is super important in order to see the positive results in a world and in our environment. There's many methods. I'm just going to mention a couple of them here. It can be done through simply visualizing, and it's best done when the spell is very simple or it's like a daily ritual. So you can just imagine yourself in your own bubble and then gather the energy there and then release it. And it can be done with only visualizing. But most common methods involve some sort of directing tool, such as atame, wand, or a finger, and they are used to trace a sphere around us, usually one circle around and one circle around the other direction, like let's say horizontal and vertical circles to trace them. Some other methods involve salt or crystals or candles or small objects that we can place around us to mark the space, the sacred space, the circle for performing magic. Some practitioners also use the broom or besom for sweeping the floor and walking around it. These all methods are following similar pattern that I'm going to discuss on the next slide. How to cast a circle. First, we need to talk about grounding and centering our energies. Grounding is connecting with the earth energies that allows us to be present in the moment. Centering is quite similar, just I like to visualize it or think about it as calling back all my energies. So trying to be focused and mindful of this present moment when I'm performing a spell or a ritual. Next step is to cleanse the space and ourselves. The best method is to use smoke cleansing or sound or any chosen method that we discussed in the first lesson of this module. Also, another important step is to prepare all the necessary ingredients and tools in our space, because there's nothing more distracting than having to open the gate in our circle and then going for something that we forgot, like matches, and coming back and closing circle again and opening. It's just a lot to do. So it's important to prepare all the ingredients in one place before we cast a circle. The third step of this casting circle process is to trace a clockwise circle. So it can be done with a finger, with a tool like a wand, or putting small objects on the ground. We put them with a projective hand, so that's a dominant hand that we use for writing, clockwise for opening the circle. Some people start from east, some people start from north. I'd recommend starting from the east because that's a natural cycle of the sun. So I guess that's a good one to have in mind. It doesn't matter that much, but you can start from east. After we do the circle around us, we can trace another one above our heads and below our feet in a way that we create a sphere of energy around us. The size of the circle will depend on your ritual or spell. If you need more energy, if you want to move in the circle, you're gonna create it bigger. If you're just gonna sit and perform your spell by the table, just need a little space. If you perform a ritual or a spell with a coven, then you might need a bigger space, such as a room. So it will all depend on your needs. Another step that you might want to consider is saying certain words and chants, for example, calling quarters or inviting some energies that will help you with maintaining this sacred space. It's optional. You can find a lot of incantations and chants online. I guess you will find something for yourself or even create something from your heart. The next step, the fifth step, is performing spell or ritual that will involve all the steps that you thought through, anything that you want to say, ask for help, anything that you're doing physically. And here, if you need to leave a circle because, for example, you forgot something or you need some water to drink, you can visualize a door opening in your circle. And then when you come back again, just visualize this door sealing or closing. To close the circle, the most common method is to use a receptive and non-dominant hand and do it counterclockwise, so reversing all the steps that we did to open the circle. And usually if you call the quarters or any deities or any other energies, you can thank them and release the energies, close the circle, etc. We talked a little bit about Cone of Power in the second module of this course. That was a little bit different exercise than this one. Generally, the idea is the same. We create Cone of Power to gather the energies and also to release it into the world, and it can be done in a meditative state, like if we visualize something and we do simple intentional meditation, for example, or it can be done in a circle, in a magical circle when you're performing a spell. Cone of Power is the act of building and releasing the energy and intention to the universe, usually done after performing the spell. It is directing the energy and intention towards a specific outcome. The Cone of Power can be done by raising arms and using a sweeping motion like that, for example. The energy leaving the magic circle can be visualized as the erupting volcano. In this step, when we're open the circle, the energy starts to vibrate and move around it in a clockwise motion. And this energy has usually a shape of a cone or like an upside down tornado. So the cone shapes gathers above our heads. Some practitioners like to do simple rituals to raise the vibration inside the circle. That can be done with a physical movement like dancing or different movements like stomping, clapping, anything that moves the energy and pumps it up. We talked a little bit more about raising the energy in the second module, so you can go back and check different methods. After you feel like there is a lot of energy inside your circle and that's the peak of that energy, you just burst it open and move it into the universe to do the magic and do the work. That's basically the idea behind the cone of power. Now we come to the almost last step on our journey, and as you might have imagined, in the whole module, each part was called by a different letter of this acronym Magick. The first one, momentum, it's all about the timing and what timing we choose to perform our spell. We talked about the days of the week, the moon phases, the seasons, the Sabbats. So according to that, what is the best time to perform your spell? When it comes to approach, we learn about focusing the mind, raising energies, also about different types of spells. These are the questions to consider, like what is my chosen type of spell, for example. The guidelines, the module 3, was about the ingredients, tools, colors, and other items you might want to use in your spell. Intention is the topic about having a specific purpose behind your spellcraft. In the last module, we talked about casting, so all the necessary steps to perform a successful spell. We're gonna go over casting circle, cleansing, and how to perform a spell from the beginning to the end, and how to measure the results. When it comes to spellcasting step-by-step guide, we have 7 steps that will help you to write down your own magical spell. The first one is to find the best timing. If you're still not sure which day or which time to choose, go back to the module 1 and you will learn more about this topic there. In the second step, we choose a suitable type of spell. We talked about different spells like spell jars or pouches or anything else that we might want to consider. To learn more about that, go to the module 2. When it comes to the spell, we need some types of ingredients, either stones or herbs or small charms, anything that we want to include in our spell. It's good to write down a list of the ingredients that we might need, prepare them all beforehand. The step 4 is to setting your intention. As we mentioned before, it needs to be really specific, so we need to know what we want from life. The 5th step, it's gonna be about cleansing the space, focusing the mind, raising vibration, and casting the circle. These are all the steps we covered in this module, so I hope you have a greater understanding of each of these little steps. When it comes to performing spell, this will involve any type of incantations, any chants, any words you want to use, saying your intention, writing it down, making a petition, doing a charm, a talisman, an amulet, a simple spell jar, anything that you want to do as your spell. The last step of each spell casting is closing the circle and releasing energies. Or actually releasing energies and closing the circle. So this is the cone of power exercise when you gather this energy and trust in the universe that it will direct it towards your specific goal. The other day I learned this technique about releasing the energy into the universe, and I was taught to visualize my outcome in a way that the best possible scenario for me. And then when it's there, the scene, I was told to put it in a balloon and imagine this scene, this outcome, this intention in a balloon and pumping it up to the universe and seeing it going up and up and up towards the sky. And then when it was high enough, the balloon, it needs to be burst open, it needs to be released, and the energy from that balloon, this positive energy, will go into the universe and do the magic. And I think this is a simple visualization that can be done with any type of spell, or even without a spell, just as a practice of bringing intentions and visualizations into our lives in the form of a change, a transformation, or something that we want to experience in this lifetime. And the last note for today is that spellcasting is a creative process that will depend on your needs, time, and available resources. Sometimes all you need to do is to send a strong intention to the universe. Just as I said with the balloon, you can do it just before the bed or anytime you want, you need, and you don't need unnecessary tools or ingredients. Your strong will and intention is all that matters. You are all that matter in Magick. On an ending note, I want to talk about this issue that some people might have, like, how do I know that the spell has worked? There are certain ways to check if your spell is working. The first step to know if your spell has worked is to have a clear and specific intention. If you say to yourself, I want to lose weight, that's not specific. You don't know how much weight, you don't know by when, what's your ideal weight, anything of that matter. And if it's not specific, it's harder to see if it's worked. Like sometimes you might want to have an intention, I want more money, and then you go and you find like 5 cents on the ground and you got more money, but it's not as much as we wanted, right? So specific and clear intention is the top must thing for a good spell. The second step is to know how you measure the success. So for example, that can be a certain weight, like I want to weigh blah, blah, blah. I want to earn blah, blah, blah. Also, forming the intention in the present tense is more powerful. And the most powerful way to form an intention is, I am grateful and happy now that I earn that and that much money. I am happy and grateful now that I have a fulfilling relationship, a loving relationship. So in the present tense, and especially with like positive words, setting intention is an important step. If you want to go back to the way how to set intentions, check the module 4. When it comes to timing the spell and the results that we want to see, it's usually wise to wait 1 to 3 lunar cycles. After that time, it needs to be reassessed, it needs to be revised and see what was working, what was not, if it was done properly, like what could have been better, if there was like any celestial influences that might have interfered with the spell, such as Mercury retrograde, for example. Another great idea is to write the spell down and all the reflections. So at the end of this module, I'm gonna give you the worksheet where you can write all your ingredients or your steps of the spell and notes. So I hope this is gonna help you to set your spell and intention and everything needed for a spell casting. But also you can use it as a part of your practice, as a part of your spellcasting journal. And the last step that will determine the success of your spell is to notice any changes in the physical, mental, and emotional states around you. Sometimes we ask for something else, but we might not realize it, but things change and things happen in our lives. So noticing the subtle changes, the transformations, a little bit like how you approach the world, how people approach you, anything that can be seen as a positive change that might be a result of your spellcasting. So seeing these little things might help you to see the spellcasting process as an overall success. If the spell didn't work out in a set time, reevaluate all the steps you took, ingredients you used, also your attitude. If you doubt that it's gonna work, that might have stopped the process and progress in the spellcasting. So determine what could trigger the progress and try to repeat it with maybe better timing, with better intention, or maybe some different ingredients. Remember that spellcasting is a process. It's something that we learn and we get better. We evolve with it. So you might not get it the first time, the second time, but there will be times that it worked and you'd be surprised how powerful you are, like how powerful are your thoughts and intentions, and especially the actions that make tangible results in your life. Having all that in mind, I hope you will create amazing changes in your life. Make sure to comment about this course, tell your friends about it, and also let me know in the comments or in the private messages what you think about it. How did you like it? And if there's anything that I can do better or improve, I'd be so happy to hear your feedback. As the last assignment of this course, I'm gonna ask you to perform your spell with all the information provided in this course. It's time to do it. So on the printed worksheet, note all the steps and used ingredients, so you will have a tangible record of this magical practice. I'm just gonna provide you with this worksheet, and I hope that it's gonna help you to perform successful spells and see the results you wish to see in your life and in your reality. I hope this course helped you to be more confident about your magical practice and inspired you to do some changes and work towards your dream life. And if you feel like it, please share your results and insights with our community in the comments below or in the private message if you feel like it. I'd be so happy to speak to you and hear about your successes and everything that went well after finishing this course. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon in another course or in another video, or maybe even in our private witch community. I wish you a blissful rest of the day and the rest of the week, and all the best in your life.